What is good, YouTube? Warstu here. Continuing our coverage on Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Even more leaks, details about Doomsday, who's going to feature in Doomsday. Also, some new spoiler leaks from Avengers Secret Wars. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that I try to deliver on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know how freaking hyped are you for the future of the MCU? Also, check us out on TikTok, Warstu. Really close to 1,000 followers over there. Also, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Right, let's get into today's video. So, there's lots of back and forth, lots of hyperbole about Tom Holland not appearing in Avengers Doomsday. So, recently, Robert Downey Jr. and Mr. Tom Holland himself had a brand deal, a collaboration together. And a lot of people made out this was an Avengers Doomsday collaboration. No, it was the brew and the happy brand that they both have. I've seen TikTok videos of people breaking down how this correlates to Avengers Doomsday when it just looks like Tom Holland and RDJ are teaming up in real life with their brands outside of acting to do something. So why am I saying this? Because recently a scooper said Tom Holland will not appear in Secret Wars. Then James Mack responded, and I think he's the most credible person. I have always said, yes, Tom Holland's Spider-Man will appear in this movie, but he's not going to appear in much. And James Mack backed up what I've always said. He will be there, just not that much. The protagonistic role in Secret Wars, but he will be up for it for sure, which is pretty cool. Also in the news, there's been lots of and ahhing about Halle Berry Storm appearing in Avengers Doomsday. Industry insider Daniela said this. Halle Berry is reportedly close to finalizing her deal to return as Storm for Avengers Doomsday. There's lots of he said, she said at the moment. Recently, Channing Tatum was on Soup's podcast. It's not really, is it a podcast? I don't know what it is. It appeared on TikTok. And Channing Tatum said, yo, I grew up with these characters. So it was basically confirming, I mean, if you look at Channing Tatum's age, right? Channing Tatum is 40s. He's in his 40s, right? So people his age, people he looked up to, I think he was talking more visually about characters. So I'm assuming he was talking about Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, and I assume he was talking about Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, because he said he was fanboying when he was working. But is he really more talking about like the Avengers and stuff like that? But he could be confirming anything. So a lot of people have taken that little clip from Soups' TikTok thing as confirmation that Toby is definitely in this movie, which it didn't necessarily say that. So also in the news, according to James Mack, he said this: Thor and Love in New Asgard in Avengers Doomsday. Tessa Thompson filmed her scene. Korg and no other characters Thor's storyline will appear. Then he went on to say there are other new army groups to showcase, like the Telecone and the Realm of the Tulao. And New Asgard is something brief. It's not relevant for showing characters. It's just where love will stay while Thor joins the Avengers. And the rest of the story unfolds. James Mack is becoming one of the people who are coming out saying a lot. He is allegedly a graphics designer, stroke VFX artist that's worked on Stranger Things and the Upside Down World. So he would have friends, colleagues that work in the industry that would give him information about what they're working on. And obviously, if you're working on CG and VFX, you would actually see concept art and you would work on concept art. So you would have a pretty good idea of what is actually going on, to be honest. So also in the news, according to an article from maxbliz.com, courtesy of James Mack again, they're talking about Avengers Secret Wars. A new leaked Discord report from Marvel Avengers Secret Wars has been revealed. The filming for Secret Wars is set to begin in mid-2026, which is true because the movie's coming out late 2027, so they've got to start shooting then. But it's also worth saying and worth actually thinking about this. Whilst they're shooting Secret Wars, they could be shooting Doomsday. Doomsday doesn't come out to the end of the year. So it's going to be interesting because you can't say, oh, but he was seen on set. No one has been seen on set for this movie. That is why it's so wild. No one has been seen on set for Avengers Doomsday. So let's continue with this story. So it's reported that Toby and Andrew Garfield will appear, but Doomsday and Kang will not. The Maker will be the protagonistic, acting alongside Reed Richards, just like in the comics. Also, several characters will feature in both Doomsday and Secret Wars, with Doctor Doom as the main focus. And meanwhile, Bob will spend years being tortured to release energy for Battle World, just like in the comics. Amphibians will replace Molecule Man, and Wanda will be the central protagonistic. Interesting. Now, the Amphibians were spoken about in leaks before Deadpool and Wolverine came out. So, allegedly, the Amphibians are what holding all the universes together, and Doctor Doom is going to come into the DMs in Doomsday and try to kill them all, but that doesn't really make much sense. So this saying the Maker will be one of the protagonistics, which is interesting because the Maker in the comics was an interesting character, but Loki has also been described as being the Molecule Man in Avengers Secret Wars. So it is interesting. And as I say, there's lots of reports that do kind of contradict each other. Now, I think it's a bit too early to talk about what's going to happen in Secret Wars, but you know, here on the channel, we talk about everything because the Maker in the comics is actually Reed Richards of the Ultimate Universe, Earth 1610, once the leader of the universe of Fantastic Four. He is now known as the Maker, a version of himself who resides on every universe in the multiverse after Secret Wars. So that's interesting because realistically, this report doesn't say much that you wouldn't already know. It goes on to say, of the classic X-Men, only Cyclops and Magneto will appear. This is talking about Secret Wars. The main protagonists of Secret Wars will include the Life Raft occupants, Doom and his allies. Amongst them, Wanda, who is likely promised her children, as well as anyone who's not under mind control. Now, it's worth saying, Raft. So, the Raft at the end of Captain America 4, where the leader is, where the Red Hulk is, etc., I've heard and seen rumors that that very Raft will end up being some variation, some variation of the Life Raft in, obviously, Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. There's so many reports saying the Raft will return. So there is one theory out there that says Doctor Doom orchestrates a mass breakout from the Raft, freeing numerous supervillains to recruit for his team and use as a distraction against Earth 616 heroes. How true this is interesting. The Raft becoming the Life Raft. I don't know. I think more the Void will be used as a vocal point in Doomsday, obviously before they create the new universe. But rumors are rumors. Anything could be true. But there has been loads of people, including the likes of Alex Perez, who isn't as reliable as they used to be, saying the Raft will reportedly return in Avengers Doomsday. And yeah, lots of other people have said similar things. So this is actually quite an interesting piece. It goes on to say Cyclops will be on the Life Raft, while Spider-Man will have a comparable role to his role in Avengers Infinity War. The Life Raft occupants will be trapped, passed out inside the ship, buried beneath the earth. Many special appearances and surprises are also expected. So the Life Raft's definitely turning up for sure, but is it going to be the Raft that was used in Captain America 4? Would make the most sense. This article goes on to say, according to reports, the 1984 Secret Wars will not be adapted. The original multiversal variant war involving Kang has been dropped, with the film now adapted in 2015 Secret Wars. Originally, the film was planned to be split into two parts, but that is no longer the case. The Black Swan will play a very important role, and the story will be centered on Doom as the key figure, similar to how Thanos was positioned in previous storylines. Now, it is worth saying that we were supposed to be getting Doctor Strange 3 in between Doomsday and Secret Wars, and that is where the Black Swan would be introduced. Now, it seems like whatever they were going to do with Doctor Strange 3, if it's going to be done post-Secret Wars, it doesn't really make much sense. They're going to have to do whatever storyline they were going to do in Doctor Strange 3 in the combination of Doomsday and in the combination of Secret Wars. Because ultimately, Black Swan, like it says in this said leak, is very important. Black Swan was created by the New Avengers, written by Jonathan Hickman. She first appeared, blah, blah, blah. The origin, the Black Swan originally was born as a princess on an alternate Earth where an Earth experienced a universal incursion. The Black Priest massacred everyone, leaving her the lone survivor. The Black Swan discovered and raised her to become one of them and to serve Rebom Hubble, the Great Destroyer, which has major ties to Doom, God Emperor Doom, and actually Avengers Secret Wars. So this part where it says Black Swan will be very important does make a lot of sense. Then it goes on to say a lot of stuff about post-Secret Wars, but that's not really relevant. We might talk about it in a different video. So like always, lads and ladettes, let me know, what do you think about this information? Some of it's kind of new, some of it's not. It's interesting the way that it thinks Secret Wars is going to go. Like I say, I give anyone's presidents until they're wrong, but it does seem like at the moment that Mr. James Mack is the most credible person in the game. We don't know. We're not going to know if this is true to 2027 Christmas. But it's interesting to talk about Secret Wars because we're building up to Secret Wars. So we might as well talk about it. So we've gone over a bunch of stuff about Doomsday, bunch of stuff about Secret Wars. It does sound like pretty cool stuff. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuG. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.